All right, so the next part of measurement, and I hope you'll forgive me, the last video I had to cut it off because I realized that I was making a little bit of a mistake and had already spent time filming it and I didn't really want to go back and have to redo it. So sorry about that and bear with me. Our next measurement assignment is this page here, which is learning about length. So this one actually is a little bit more straightforward than the measurement about me, which is fun. And this is just using manipulatives to measure different objects around the room. So if we were at school, we would be using these objects that are listed at the top of the page. So there's like a paper clip, a pencil box, piece of paper, those kind of things. So your job as a student is to see what you can gather of these in your house. And if you have all of them, great. If not, that's fine. And then decide what kind of manipulative you are going to use. What I mean by that is sometimes it's better to use bigger things because we're measuring things that are bigger. Sometimes it's better to actually use smaller things like little tiny blocks because we're measuring things that are smaller. Whatever it is that you decide to use is okay, but I want you to use the same thing for every object on your list. All right? So what you're going to do for this one is choose your object that you're measuring. So for example, I'm going to measure I need you to see this, my pencil, all right? So now we're going to tie in the estimation that we did last week. I want to make sure you can see. So last week we practiced our estimating. So I'm going to look at my pencil. To me, it makes more sense to use these small blocks to measure a pencil. That's just what my brain likes to see here. So I'm going to look at my pencil and say, how many blocks is it going to take to measure across my pencil? So again, I'm making an estimate, so I'm using information that I already know, and I might look at it and think, I think it's going to take 15 blocks. So on your paper here, object is pencil, my estimate is 15 blocks, and then I'm actually going to measure it. So I'm going to take my blocks and put them out. There's 5, there's 10, there's 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so was that a good estimate? It was pretty good. I would rate 18 down in actual measurement. All right, so that should be pretty straightforward. And once you're done with that, then down here, we're going to talk about comparing those measurements. So I want you to rank your objects in order from the shortest to the longest, and then from the longest to shortest. Okay, so that is measuring using length. The next thing that we're going to do is comparing measurements. So in this assignment, in this project, you're going to choose 2 different units of measurement to measure the following objects. Okay, so you are measuring each thing 2 times using 2 different sized units of measurement. So for example, that would mean like the pencil that I just measured, I would measure it using my little blocks and then I would measure it using my big blocks. Okay, the idea of this, the skill that we're trying to learn here, is to know that the smaller the thing is that we use to measure it, the more of it it's going to take. That's the outcome here. That's the goal of what we want our students to learn. So by practicing that, hopefully it'll help hammer that in for them. I understand at home you might not have, a school desk, obviously, that kind of thing. You can use your kitchen table, you can use a pencil, you can use a piece of paper, whatever. Be creative. It's more important that we're getting our students out there and just letting them have that chance to be hands-on and see that relationship between the size of unit being measured and then the actual answer. So that's assignment number 2. Okay. Next, we've got round objects. So we touched on this a little bit when I measured around my head in the first All About Me activity that we did. So now, same kind of thing. It's a bit of a measurement scavenger hunt. You will need a string again, and then to decide on your manipulative or your unit of choice. Again, I don't really care what you use as long as you are consistent throughout it. Okay. So tell me what you're using. If you're using a globe, maybe a pop can, maybe a circular pencil case, whatever. Just tell me what it is you're using. Again, I'd like you to try and do an estimate. So this is why this is a little bit more challenging than the Math About Me page, and this is why we're doing it later. Because now I want you to try and estimate how many units it's going to use or to take to measure your object. And once you have that, then we're ordering them again down here. Okay. Last assignment is now we're going to talk a little bit about weight. So if you have a scale at home, you can complete this assignment. If you don't have a scale at home, don't worry about it. All right, completely optional. I know lots of people don't have scales at home. That's totally fine. You can use like a weight scale or a food scale, whatever you have, if you have something. If not, don't do this page. So same kind of idea. I want you to find different things around your house that you think are going to weigh different things. So you might choose like a tennis ball and then your little brother. It doesn't matter. I want you to try and estimate. So once you've chosen your 8 objects, guess or estimate which one is the lightest and which one is the heaviest. And that's where I want you to put your estimate in this section up top. Then you're going to list your objects and actually weigh them. And then step 3 is to then order them in their actual order from lightest to heaviest. All right. That one can be kind of fun. Be creative. Tell me how much your cat weighs. My cat weighs like 17 pounds, so you can see where that would land on that list. And then last but not least, once you're through all of those, this is just a little bit of a wrap-up activity. Parents, I would suggest that you read these questions to your students and then have them answer it. I'm not judging spelling. I'm not judging penmanship or anything like that, although, of course, we always encourage them to do their best work with things like that. If it's easier for you as parents to have your students tell you the answer and write down what they said, that's totally fine. I can tell when I get it anyways. It's all good. What I want to see is what you guys learned from this measurement unit. So sorry about the lengthy video. I hope that makes sense. I know I can talk really fast and I'm sorry about that. So take your time getting through all of these things. Let me know if you have any questions and have fun, and I will see you guys later.